Yes, I'd like to make a booking at one of your public weekend breaks.
I want you to imagine something for a minute. Imagine that you're running your own business. It may be small, it may be big. And you supply equipment. The equipment you supply is fine, but it gets damaged or misused, and it's the customer's fault. Would you fix it without charging? Well, in BT, we fix a lot more equipment without charging than you'd imagine. The service you provide has a value. Very often, that value is covered by the rental agreement or the maintenance contract. But sometimes it's not. And that's where a per occasion charge should be made.
Well, there used to be a table there and I was moving it and, you know, I caught the leg on the wire and snapped it.
I see. You do know there's a charge for this?
Yes, they told me that when I reported it.
All I can say is I can start now. When I finish...
In this case, the POC was readily accepted by the customer and the A158 duly completed and signed. But I don't have to tell you that it's not always as easy as that. But you're not the only engineers offering a service to the great British public. So how do the engineers servicing all these other products get on? The company that leased this photocopier with a maintenance contract decided after a couple of weeks of operation that it would be more convenient to have it on the ground floor after all. The supplier had suggested this in the first place. But the manager, not wanting to lose face, got a few of the likely lads from the office to help move it down.
All right, steady, everybody. Here we go. Mind your backs, everyone, please. Coming through. Stand right.
Unfortunately, in doing so, they broke off the delivery tray. They broke the photoreceptor, the expensive bit which makes the copy, and they broke the terms of the maintenance agreement.
I've adjusted the input now.
As a result, the company had to pay for new parts, pay to have the machine restored to full working order, and pay for the call-out and engineer's time.
Okay.
And of course, similar disasters happen in the home. One morning, Mrs. Miller of 29 Laburnham Close got rather carried away with the spray polish, leaving everything sparkling clean. On this occasion, she knocked over a vase of flowers and left the set much cleaner than she'd intended. But as it was a rented set, Mrs. Miller wasn't unduly worried. Not until the television engineer advised her that accidental damage was not covered in her contract with the supplier. Mrs. Miller paid the bill, which she'll probably be able to claim on her insurance anyway, and moved the flower vase into the dustbin. Yes, charging matters as much to the suppliers of these products as it does to BT. In common with us, they operate maintenance contracts, and in most cases, those contracts only cover repair for fair wear and tear. It's probably true to say that their engineers face the same problems as ours when it comes to charging for a replacement or a repair which falls outside the terms of the contract. And they understand that they must charge. Their experience has taught them that business users and the general public understand that charging in certain circumstances is a normal and proper commercial practice if it's properly explained. A practice which ensures that all customers are treated fairly and that careless customers aren't subsidised by others. BT should be applying those same standards. It's all part of caring and it's consistent with our customer care programme. So charging does matter, and we should be doing all that we can to increase income from per occasion charging. Are you looking for the per occasion priorities? From damage such as a breakage, to water or drink spilt over equipment, cable damage, or others such as main switched off, or a phone left persistently off the hook, a cash box full on a rented coin box, or extensions on divert. These are some of the easier per occasion charges to identify, but there are others, such as damage caused by lightning, or voltage fluctuations, or faults caused by unauthorized alterations to equipment or wiring. With so much communications equipment on the market, it's important to establish whether or not the reported fault has been caused by equipment which hasn't been supplied by BT. Similarly, it's important to identify where equipment which is supplied by us is no longer covered by warranty. We should all be on the lookout for these instances because charging really does matter. Is this how per occasion charging is working for you? The real key to per occasion lies in identifying a possible charge when the fault is first reported.
Good morning, British Telecom Repair Service. Can I help you?
Yes, I hope so. I'm afraid I've got fault on my phone.
In this case, the fault has come through to Jackie in Repair Service Control. In your district, it may come through a front office.
Problem with your phone?
Well, the casing, it's come apart somehow. I'm not quite sure what
Oh
happened.
dear. do you know how this happened?
Well, I'm not really sure. I think it may have got pulled off the kitchen counter, you know, kids or the dog or something. I really don't know.
I see. And do you rent your phone from British Telecom or do you own your phone?
We rent it.
Right, OK. We can send an engineer round to have a look at the phone for you. This would be a chargeable visit.
Oh, I see. All right, well, when do you think you could get an engineer round?
Would somebody be there tomorrow morning?
By asking the right questions, Jackie's identified there's every likelihood of a charge and advised the customer. She then passes all the information on to the engineers.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Jackie, how do you spot a POC then?
It's all in the line of questioning, really. Customers can be very evasive, so the more questions you ask, the more likely you're to get to the truth of the problem.
Right, thanks, Jackie. So let's see how it is from the engineer's point of view. Barry, with a charge to be made, is this likely to be a difficult one?
Sometimes it can be, but in this particular case, they were informed they reported the fault, there would be a charge. Makes life a lot easier.
So what happened here?
Well, I just dragged it off the top, fell on the floor and smashed.
Yes, well, you realise there will be a charge.
Oh, yes, they told me that when I reported it.
Let's have a look, see what we can do.
Because Jackie spotted the possibility of a charge, it made life a lot easier for the engineer. But customers don't always give all the facts when they report a fault. And if the engineer hadn't known about the POC, it could have been a totally different story.
Yes, well, you realise there will be a charge.
Oh, no, I didn't actually. They didn't tell me that on the phone.
Yes, but you see, it doesn't come under wear and tear, so we do have to charge.
Well, I just dropped
The
it.
customer signed up eventually. But not identifying a per occasion possibility earlier certainly made life more difficult for the engineer. So for POC to really work for us, all members of the team must fully understand that it's part of their job to ensure that all work is paid for. And if it's not covered by a rental or a maintenance contract, then a separate charge must be raised. And this applies as much with the business side as it does with the residential.
Good morning, British Telecom Business Repair Service. Can I help you?
Oh, yes, this is Chartfield Investments.
Yes.
We've got a fault.
What's your phone number?
It's 636-211.
636211.
Yes.
What trouble are you having?
Well, it's my partner's extension is getting no incoming calls.
Oh, what's the extension number?
Number 233.
233. You say his bell's not ringing?
Yes.
Can you make outgoing calls?
Oh, I don't know that, I'm
You
afraid.
don't. Right, we'll get someone round to you as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, bye.
Bye-bye.
I've been away a couple of days, came back this morning expecting 4 important calls.
Most modern switching systems have a whole range of customer programmable facilities. In this case, a phone has been put on divert and forgotten about. So a per occasion charge is made for an aborted visit. Because that team really understand that charging matters, they represent one of the top districts for POC in the country, achieving some 60% more from this service than some other districts. They recognise that it's a normal commercial practice to charge, and they also recognise that if they don't charge, the business is losing money, and that's bad for all of us. When a customer enters into a rental or a maintenance contract with BT, it's no different than a contract with any other supplier. If a piece of equipment gets misused or damaged, or a false call-out is made, then it must be paid for. And that's something we should all understand.